Welcome to Shelf Talk UAE. In our previous lesson, we learned how to read and execute planogram. But even if your shelf follows planogram perfectly, there's another question which every merchandiser must ask. How much shelf space does my brand actually owns? That measurement is called share of shelf or SOS. In today's lesson, we learn how to calculate SOS, why it directly impacts sales, and how to protect your brand from losing valuable shelf space. Let's get started. Imagine this entire shelf belongs to the biscuits category. As you see, many brands are sharing this shelf. Share of shelf simply tells us how much of this shelf belongs to our brand. The more shelf space your brand owns, the easier it is for the shoppers to notice it. Now we'll understand the importance of share of shelf. As you can see in this visual, more shelf space means more visibility. More visibility means more customer attention, and more customer attention means more sales. So a product that is easy to see has a better chance of being purchased. That's why brands invest millions of dirhams every year to secure better shelf space. More visibility creates more buying opportunities. Now we are going to discuss how is SOS measured. One of the simplest ways to measure share of shelf is by counting facings. If the category has 100 facings and your brand has 35, your share of shelf is 35%. Suppose in this picture you have total 100 facings and the items marked in blue is your item and it has 35 facings, suppose. So it means your share of shelf is 35%. Remember this formula to calculate SOS. Count your brand facings, count the total category facings, divide your brand facings by the total facings and multiply by 100. So you will get your actual SOS. Let's do it more practically. Suppose if you have 20 facings of Oreo and the total category has 100 facings. So 20 divided by 100 equals 20%. So your SOS is 20%. Now we'll see an example of good SOS versus poor SOS. In this visual you can see the left shelf contains small brand space while in the right shelf we have large brand space. So I ask you a question, which shelf attracts your attention first? Most shoppers naturally notice the larger brand block. That's why maintaining your approved shelf space is so important. So now we'll discuss competitor encroachment. Suppose yesterday your brand had 10 approved facings. Today you only have 7. What happened here? A competitor has occupied the remaining 3. This is called competitor encroachment. So honestly speaking, there are many reasons why your share of shelf decreases here. The reasons may be products may go out of stock, store staff may rearrange the shelf, competitors may expand their space, or the planogram may not be followed correctly. So whatever the reason is, but ultimately your brand visibility has been reduced. So here comes a responsibility of a merchandiser. Every professional merchandiser should check share of shelf during every visit. Never assume yesterday's shelf still looks the same today. You can audit your shelf using this checklist. First of all, count your facings, compare with your approved planogram, check competitors' space, then take photos and report the issue. And to avoid SOS reductions, always maintain product availability. Because empty facings are dangerous when your products disappear from the shelf, customers think the competitor has a strong presence. Empty shelf space should never remain unnoticed. So whenever you notice a loss of shelf space, don't argue with store staff. First verify approved planogram, take clear pictures, count the facings, correct the shelf if you are authorized. If not, report the issue to your supervisor. Here I would like to discuss a common mistake made by the merchandisers. Many new merchandisers simply look at the shelf and assume everything is fine. But the professionals don't guess, they measure. So always count the facings, don't ignore competitors, and always remember to take evidence photos. Here you can see in this visual, this 6-step routine should become a daily habit. It only takes a few minutes but protects your brand's visibility and sales. Whenever you are visiting the store, first of all check shelf, count facings, compare with your approved planogram, correct the facings and report accordingly. So whenever you visit a store and discover your brand has lost some facings, what should you do? Don't panic, Don't argue, follow the professional process you learned today. If you remember these 5 words, you'll really think differently from most beginners. Count, compare, protect, correct, and report. Today you have learned one of the most important KPIs of merchandising, that is share of shelf. Remember, a professional merchandiser does not just fill shelves, he measures performance, he protects brand visibility, and he takes action when something changes. If you found this lesson valuable, share it with your team. Subscribe to Shelf Talk UAE. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.